Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to talk about descriptive statistics and we'll find out what they are and have an example to make it more clear. Descriptive statistics are used to describe the sample or summarize information about them. You can organize your data into graphs, tables, or describe them just by numbers, which are called descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics has two main categories, measures of tendency and measures of variability. But before explaining those, I just want to tell you what the information is. Information or distribution is simply a collection of data or scores on a variable. For example, consider 10 patients' glycemia or blood sugar level, which are 70, 85, 98, 98, 117, 139, 147, 169, 190, and 220. We can take a distribution and calculate measures of tendency and measures of variability. Measures of tendency are like mean, median, and mode, and measures of variability are like range, standard deviation, and variance. But what is the mean? Mean is basically the average or sum of scores divided by the number of scores. In our example, we add 70 plus 85 plus 98 plus 98 plus 117 plus 139 plus 147 plus 169 plus 190 and plus 220, and then divide them by 10, which gives us 133.3, which is our mean. We should notice that we have two types of means. First one is the mean of your sample data, and it's equal with sum of your sample data divided by the number of data item in your sample. And we show it by this notation. And the other one is the mean of your population. So be careful not to confuse them. And the second measure of central tendency is median. And median is the middle number of a data set when they are arranged from lowest to highest. When distribution has an odd number of scores, then median is the middle number. But when distribution has an even number, the median is the half of two middle scores or the average of two middle scores. For example, for our patients' blood sugar level, as we have 10 patients, we should calculate the median by calculating the average of the two middle numbers, which are 117 and 139, and it is equal with 128. And what is the mode? Mode is the number that occurs most frequently. In our example, 98 is the mode because it listed 2 times in this distribution. But how do we know which type of measures of tendency we should pick? I'd say it depends upon the type of data and also the distribution of the data. I'll explain them in details in the next videos, but you just know that for categorical data, the researcher would report mode to show what response is most typical. And for ordinal data, we use median, and for interval ratio level or quantitative data, we use mean. In some specific cases, we use median, like when there may be outliers or distribution is skewed, because in some cases the mean is robust. What are measures of variability? To understand the concept of variability, bring the previous examples back in mind. What do you think about these data? What they are so different? Maybe some of you say that maybe they have unhealthy habits, and due to that, their diets contain lots of sugar and fat, and also inactivity may be a factor, or maybe it's because of the family history, or maybe just age is the reason. So as you see, these are variables that cause variation and cause the range of data. The important thing in reporting measures is that sometimes measures of central tendency like mean can be misleading, and that's why we need to check the measures of variability. For our example, let's say that the period of time dedicated to exercise influences blood sugar level. Consider that the mean exercise time of these 10 patients is 60 minutes per week with very little variation from the mean. Meaning that most of the patients to do around 60 minutes exercise each week. But it would be another different story if the mean time of exercise was 60 minutes, but we knew that 2 patients do exercise regularly around 3 hours every week. So basically, the average time of exercise of other 8 patients is just 30 minutes. So measures of dispersion provides us with a better and more complete picture of our data set here. And average or mean is not a good measurement in this example. And what is the range? Range is the distance between the minimum score and the maximum score. For our example of 10 patients' blood sugar level, the range would be 150. Variance shows us the variation of data, and it's defined as the average of the square differences from the mean. So in order to calculate variance, we first need to calculate the mean, which we have already done it, and it's 133.3. Then for each number, subtract the mean. We would take 70 minus 133 and so on. Then we square the difference and calculate the average of the squared differences. And the variance of our data here is equal with 2132.41. So it was the variance of the distribution. And the last measures of measurement of variation is standard deviation, and it is the square root of the variance. Is for our example, it's equal with 46.18. As we know, standard deviation measures the dispersion specifically around the mean. In other words, how far numbers are from the normal amount, which is mean. And larger number of standard deviation shows the larger spread of numbers, and smaller number of standard deviation shows the smaller spread of numbers around the mean. But what these values really represent? Bring the example back in your mind again. So we have mean and standard deviation, and we can find out which scores are within one standard deviation of the mean. Scores between 84 and 182 fall within one standard deviation of the mean. But what these numbers came from? 84 is equal with 133 minus 49, which is mean minus standard deviation. And 182 is equal with 133 plus 49, which is mean plus standard deviation. And by looking at our distribution, we know that we have 6 scores fall within one standard of the mean. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll see you in the next videos.